Today we're looking at the DX Chogkin Fiverobo from Fiveman. This is a Super Sentai bot from 1990. And, you know, has this cool, like, Great-In-Box. This is the name of the box set, but, I mean, they weren't sold separately. It consists of 3 vehicles: Sky Alpha, Carrier Beta, and Land Gamma. They love that Alpha, Beta, Gamma stuff. They do it in a bunch of different toys. This is interesting. I got this at an auction, and what I think is really interesting to me is that it was actually sold at a store that still exists today in Waltham, Massachusetts, called Outer Limits. So it's, you know, maybe an hour from my house. This was sold, you know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago or something. And now I own it. So I thought that was an interesting thing to note, that it was kind of back in its own neighborhood. Super Sentai box, pretty cool. It's one of those DX box sets. Has the little handle on the side for carrying it home. Little tear here. That's pretty common. No graphics on the back. So it's a nice little, it's a nice box set. And this one's in pretty good shape, all things considered. The inside, little cutouts for all of the parts and pieces, and inside there's an addendum to instructions. There's an instructions book, and there's a sticker sheet that I have not applied because, at this age they tend not to stick. Yeah, so some of the factory stickers are already coming off it a little bit. One of them got put on, but you know, they're just not going to stick great. Maybe if you had some, I think there's some kind of thing you can do to put some spray on it or something to make them stick better, the old stickers, but I'm not doing that. I'm just going to leave it as it is. But yeah, the box is pretty great, and the toy is pretty great. So let's get on to the toy. So this is Sky Alpha, and it's actually, there's a land mode and a flying mode. So it's pretty cool. Nice, rolls around. Let's transform it, and it's got a neat transformation here where you actually kind of open this up, and there's a double hinge, I guess you'd call it. Like there's a bar that makes it swing out and come up like so, right? That's cool. And then this comes around. These kind of fold up. Yeah. This. Oh. You can kind of lock this in. There we go. There's Sky Alpha. It's kind of neat. I mean, it's questionable jet mode, but you know, obviously, if you wanted to fly, these would go in and they would just fly around. You know, typical for the time. This is what Sentai was. It was kind of boxy robots. But this toy is interesting that its combination is far more complicated than the toy, you know, presents itself as, right? So for the time being, we're going to take this back out and put this back into kind of vehicle mode, car mode, right? And the reason of that is because there's a thing that we'll do in a little bit. So that is Sky Alpha. And here we have Carrier Beta. So this thing is a tank. Like all of this here, all this blue stuff is entirely solid die-cast metal. Not hollow, solid. It's crazy. This is all metal in here too. There's a lot. This really brings up, it's a DX Chogkin. It's absolutely that way. So he's cool. These little wheelie things kind of fall out. And Bandai did this a lot in the 90s, where they have this, you know, in order to kind of create like a tension point, they would just mold in the plastic and, you know, but it always makes me nervous because eventually that plastic's going to get brittle and break. So you know, obviously I'm doing this for the review, but once I'm done reviewing this, I'm probably going to set it and forget it. Carrier Beta. And then there's Land Gamma. Land Gamma is a little race car. What's cool about this guy is that these tires are rubber. The other ones have plastic tires. This one, for some reason, gets rubber tires. These cannons are removable, and there's two sets of cannons. This is kind of the single barrel ones, or these double barrel ones here. I don't know their context in the show, but you can choose single or double cannons. And you can see here already, like, one of these stickers is starting to come up a little bit. I thought for a minute that, see how there's like a ridged edge back here? I thought maybe that there was a combination or something, like where the weapons would combine and take advantage of that connector, but I think it's just a design. All right, so here's, you get the 3 vehicles, and they're super cool. But there's a little more to these vehicles than this. So there's a second mode, which is kind of like a carrier mode. And we will basically do this, all right? Okay, that's cool. There's also a little hook in the front that comes out. And this guy just rests back here. And I know I mentioned the alpha. There's a little loop that opens up. Look at that. Rolls around like a semi-truck on a trailer. No, very cool, right? There's actually one other cool little thing that I like about this. That's a little attention to detail. Check this out. You get little off-ramps. Huh? Oh, that's so cool. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Oh, yeah, that's just cool, right? I think it's cool. Something I've noticed is there is a small tab in here that kind of connects these together, but it doesn't really stay. And if you put a lot of pressure, you'll know that these things will just come right up to the side. So it's not without its engineering problems, but it is super cool and super heavy, right? All right, let's make a robot. All right, we're gonna make a robot. We'll start with this. This becomes basically the whole lower half of the robot. And again, very interesting what we do here. Unexpected. You would not expect this, and I didn't expect it either. But check this out. This whole part kind of comes around, right? Really interesting. And these snap down, right? And then the legs, the feet, sorry, come out and go in. And then come back up. Right, and then you put these back. And that is the feet. Then the legs. Interesting, right? More interesting. Then this, it's not a clicky joint. Goes like that. This comes down. There's a little tab under there. Kind of just lock it in place if you want. And then we take the car, Sky Alpha, and you just sort of, you just gotta wedge them in there. You can guess how the rest of this is gonna go, I'm sure. These pieces come down, separate. There's an arm joint and a hand. Do it on the other side. And they just kind of click in. There you go. Fiverobo. Really cool. It's heavy as heck. I mean, listen to that. They don't make them like that anymore. It's a strange thing. Obviously the feet are metal, and Bandai must have, went like, look, it's just not cool to have metal on metal. So we're going to give you shoes. So these don't, they're not involved in the transformation in any way, but they are just like little shoes. They're plastic, and they're probably just there to keep the metal, the paint on the metal from wearing off. Or maybe he had a complex about his height. I don't know. But cool. nice, right? So, and these little dots here, you can put either of those weapons on. The art actually has them always pointing up, like they're, you know, they're fixed on the, because this is the way they would be oriented in car mode, you know? It seems a little weird, but that's the way the pictures continue to have it shown. Obviously, you can turn it around and make little guns, but just all the art depicts them pointing up. And you can swap these out with those alternate double cannons if you wish. And what is interesting is there is a sword. Of course, all Super Sentai robots should have a sword. No shield, just a sword. It's a rather nice sword, but it's modular. There's a tip, and this piece actually comes off. I don't think this is anything I think this is just like manufacturing, you know. I don't think it has any kind of action feature. I don't think there's like a ring attack or anything. But the basically is, you know, you can have him holding sword in one and the little dagger tip in the other, and it's shown that way. Again, I've never seen Fiverobo, don't know the context, but you know, of course I like just the, you know, the tip. I just like the tip. Yeah, just super cool, right? It's just, I didn't think I was into these boxy Sentai robots, and then I had the opportunity to buy one, and I was just like, holy crap, what have I been missing? Look at this beast, this glorious beast. So, you know, these are out there. They're expensive, but not like ridiculously expensive. You know, they're kind of averagely priced for their age. They're not super desirable in that people aren't artificially inflating prices because it's, you know, they're trendy or whatever. It's a DX Chogkin, and it's a little bit unloved because people don't, like, they think of this as just kind of a dorky square Sentai bot, I think, right? And this is 1990, so it's like just before Power Rangers came out with Zeo Ranger, you know, was kind of coming up, and they at that point made a drastic shift kind of from boxy robots to these kind of animal dinosaur themed robots, and then space and all these other things. So this was kind of the end of a dry time of kind of boring looking Sentai bots. Obviously, from like a show standpoint, it's very easy to put a dude in a costume that's just a bunch of boxes and have him run around. Like, so I can see why they did that. But I'm glad that they made the transformation really interesting and challenging. I really like it a lot. I think it's a fun piece, and if you have the opportunity to get one, I would recommend it. Definitely gave me a new appreciation for these boxy Sentai robots of the late 80s, early 90s. So once again, this has been Josh from CollectionDX.com. If you like what you see, please subscribe. You can visit us at CollectionDX.com, CollectionDX on all the social medias. And we have a Patreon that if you like what we do and you want to support it, please consider donating it. Every little bit helps, keeps the light on, and helps bring us kind of cool new things like this. Thanks for watching.